They call it the land of the rising sun, a nation born from fire, forged by spirit, and shaped by time. This is the story of its journey, from myth to the modern age. According to legend, the islands of Japan were created by the gods Izanagi and Izanami, divine architects of heaven and earth. From these myths, history began to stir. The Yamato clan emerged, uniting tribes under a single sun and giving birth to Japan's first emperors. But the true foundation of this new nation wasn't just power, it was belief. Nature became faith. The wind, the river, the mountain, all were living spirits, kami, guiding the heart of the people through the path of Shinto. As society evolved, so did its protectors. From the heart of this ancient land, a new code emerged. Bushido, the way of the warrior. Honor, loyalty, and discipline defined this ethos, and the men who lived by it would come to shape Japan's destiny. By the 12th century, real power shifted from the emperors to these warriors. The samurai, with their swords and their code, became the soul of Japan. Their rule was formalized under the Kamakura shoguns, who governed through sword and faith, binding the chaos of warring clans into order beneath the emperor's silent, symbolic gaze. Japan's strength was soon put to the ultimate test. When the Mongol hordes of Kublai Khan invaded, it seemed the nation was doomed. But as the fleets approached, a mighty typhoon swept the seas. The Japanese called it kamikaze, the divine wind. Nature itself had protected Japan, reinforcing the belief that the islands were divinely favored.
Following this divine intervention, a new era of refinement began. In the Ashikaga period, beauty and culture flourished. Ink wash painting, poetry, and meticulously designed gardens became the language of peace, a stark contrast to the martial spirit that had dominated for so long. But this peace was fragile. It shattered into the Sengoku period, the age of warring states. For over a century, ambitious warlords, the daimyo, fought for power in a relentless storm of ambition that threatened to consume the land entirely. Out of this chaos, three great unifiers would rise. The first was Oda Nobunaga, a ruthless visionary who sought to bring the nation together through conquest. He was a force of nature, turning the endless conflict into a path toward a unified empire. After his death, his loyal retainer Toyotomi Hideyoshi, a man who rose from peasantry to absolute power, continued the mission. He united the fractured nation under his dream of greatness, completing the work Nobunaga had started. Finally, in 1603, the last of the three great unifiers, Tokugawa Ieyasu, secured a final decisive victory. He established a shogunate that would bring an end to the centuries of war. To ensure stability, he made a radical decision, closing Japan's borders to the outside world. This ushered in an unprecedented era of peace that would last for 250 years. During this long isolation, Japanese culture thrived. Art, theater like kabuki and bunraku, and philosophy flourished. It was a golden age, unfolding beneath the gentle fall of sakura blossoms. But isolation could not last forever. In 1853, the peace was shattered by the arrival of American black ships in Edo Bay. They brought with them the demands of the West, trade, technology, and a world that Japan could no longer ignore. The shock of this arrival was immense, and it triggered the end of the old world. In what became known as the Meiji Restoration, the shogunate fell, and power was returned to the emperor. Young samurai laid down their swords, donned modern uniforms, and embraced a radical new path. Japan transformed seemingly overnight, adopting Western science, industry, and political systems with astonishing speed. The Meiji era forged a modern empire, blending the ancient discipline of the samurai with a powerful, newfound ambition. But this ambition soon turned outward. Driven by a desire to secure resources and prove its strength on the world stage, Japan sought to shape Asia in its own image. Its destiny became tied to conquest. In 1905, in a conflict that shocked the world, Japan defeated the Russian Empire. This victory against a great European power proved Japan's might to all and cemented its status as a new global force. With this victory came immense pride, and with it,
the dangerous belief that destiny would always favor the rising sun. This belief, combined with growing militarism, set Japan on a collision course with the rest of the world. War returned, and Japan stood at its center, fierce, unyielding, and ultimately doomed to fall. The Second World War brought devastation on a scale never before imagined. In 1945, in two terrible flashes of light, fire fell from the sky. The cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki vanished. In the face of this atomic horror, the war came to an end. For the first time in its history, Japan laid down its sword. The emperor's voice, broadcast across the nation, announced the surrender, not just in defeat, but in a solemn hope for a new beginning, for peace. The American occupation followed, and a nation began to rebuild under watchful eyes. Democracy replaced empire, a new constitution renounced war, and resilience replaced pride. The Japanese people worked with a quiet, focused determination to rise from the ashes. And rise they did. In what can only be described as an economic miracle, Japan transformed itself within decades. From the ruins of war, it became a global titan of industry and innovation, a testament to the incredible spirit of its people. This rebirth wasn't just economic, it was cultural. From the stoic samurai to the global phenomenon of anime and software, Japan reshaped the world once more, this time through its art, its discipline, and its boundless imagination. Through all this change, Japan never lost its soul. The harmony between ancient tradition and relentless progress can be seen everywhere. In quiet shrines that stand beside modern highways, in the enduring values that guide daily life. Today, Japan stands as a beacon of balance, where a deep and storied history breathes within the very heartbeat of the future. The spirit of Bushido, the virtues of honor, discipline, and respect endure, not as relics of a warrior past, but as timeless principles that continue to define Japan's unique and powerful identity. Through storms of war and periods of quiet isolation, through destruction and miraculous rebirth, Japan endures, forever rising, like its name, with the sun. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of Japan. If you found this story as fascinating as we do, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next exploration into the past. We'll see you in the next video.